When most users think of a pivot table, they see it with a single data set in the values area. That's certainly the most common configuration, but you can summarize more than one data field at a time. In this movie, I'll show you how to do that. My sample file is multiple 0203, and you can find it in the Chapter 2 folder of your exercise files collection. In this file, I have a pivot table that summarizes category sales by year. If I want, I can also include a different field, such as quantity. So if I want to see the total number of batteries, grid tie inverters, etc. sold, I can do that by adding the quantity field to the values area. To do that, I'll go over to the pivot table fields task pane, and if for some reason that isn't available, go to the Analyze tab of the ribbon and make sure that the Field List button is selected. Then in the field list, drag the quantity field, in this case down to values, and I will put it on top of sum of total price so that quantity will be to the left of the total price. So I'll see quantity and then the total of all the sales. So I'll drag down, put it on top of quantity, and you can see where I'm going to drop it with the green line that goes across. And then in the body of the pivot table, you see that I have sum of quantity and sum of total price. And if I close the pivot table fields task pane, I can see total sum of quantity, total sum of total price, and so on. Now, there are a couple of things to notice about adding a second data field. The first is that your pivot table gets very wide very quickly, and that's because of the field headers. So always bear that in mind. If you don't have a lot of room on your screen, then displaying two different summaries can be a problem. You can, of course, use two different fields in the values area, but you can also use two copies of the same field. So I'll bring back the field list, and I will remove sum of quantity from the values area. And let's say that I want to put a second copy of total price. So I'll drag total price down to the values area. So now I have a second copy of sum of total price. You can see I have sum of total price 1, sum of total price 2. And if I want, I can change the summary operation for the first of those fields. So I will right-click a cell in the first sum of total price column, and I'll right-click cell B9, and then click Value Field Settings. Then I'll click Show Values As, and I'll change from No Calculation to, let's say percent of column total, and then click OK. And you see what I have is the sum of total price expressed as a percentage and also as a total dollar value. And of course, if I want to remove either of those fields, I can do that. So I'll remove sum of total price, the top one, by dragging it to the field list, and you can see that I am back to my original configuration. Pivot tables can get a bit crowded when you display more than one data field in the values area, but if you use the space wisely, you can gain a lot of insights by viewing two or more data sets simultaneously.